One of the greatest and coolest things about working in a spreadsheet is using functions and formulas. Now, if you don't know how to use functions and formulas, you really should learn because these are what's going to really impress your boss or your teacher or whoever you're trying to impress. This is what makes a spreadsheet powerful as opposed to maybe using graph paper or a spreadsheet paper or a ledger on paper as opposed to doing it on the computer or whatever. Because a formula, what it does is it tells your spreadsheet to do a calculation. So it's kind of like a calculator, except it also does logic calculations. So it will have logic arguments and give you results. So let me just show you some examples. Over here on the left here, you can see I have formula operators. See all these different operators that I have? They're just math operators. But the way that they work is, for example, in this, I'm going to grab these little titles here and show you some examples. So, addition, an example of addition. Now, whenever I begin typing a formula, I hit equals, okay? And I know my text is really small. It'll be bigger here in a second. And I hit 2 plus 2, and I hit enter. Now, notice what happens. If I click on this, look up here in my formula bar, what's actually displaying. And this represents exactly what's in the cell, 2 plus 2, okay? So that's exactly what is in the cell. However, what displays is 4. And that's because Google Sheets reads this as hey, equals 2 plus 2. Well, what does it equal? It equals 4, so I'm going to plug a 4 in there. All right, so that's pretty cool. But then you have to type out a math equation just to, why don't you just type 4, right? However, where these functions, or this feature rather, of formulas comes in handy is when you create references. So let me show you what I mean. So over here down here in this cell, I'll do a 2 and a 2, okay? And instead of typing 2 plus 2 equals 4, I'm going to change it up. I'm going to do equals and click on the cell, so E12 plus E13, and hit enter. And what do you know? It gives me a result. Now the cool thing about this is because I didn't enter 2 plus 2, instead I entered the cell reference, whatever I change this cell to, my formula will update based upon what I change it to. So for example, if I put a 5 in here, we're going to end up with 7, right? So 5 plus 5, 10. Pretty cool, all right? But it gets better, trust me. It gets better. It's even cooler. There's different operators. I have subtraction here. We'll just do equals this minus this, enter, 0, as you can imagine. Multiplication equals E12 again. You use a little asterisk in this example, okay? That's the little shift 8 there. Okay. Division, you just hit equals this divided by this, right? Use that backslash. Order of operations. So when you learned the order of operations, the thing that always came first was whatever's in the parentheses, right? So Google Sheets, when it reads a formula, it reads it following the order of operations. If you're not familiar with that, go look it up. It's kind of an important thing when you're writing these formulas, because if you don't know the order of operations, you may not get the result that you want. Let me give you an example. If I go equals 2 plus 2, 2 divided by 4, and so 2 plus 2 equals 4 divided by 4 is 1, right? However, that won't be my result. And the reason why is because of the order of operations. I need to put some parentheses in there. What that tells Google Sheets is, hey, I want you to add 2 plus 2 before you divide it by 4. Because normally, if I don't have those parentheses, it's going to do division and multiplication first, and then it will do addition. So it would do 2 divided by 4 plus 2. That's why we got that 2.5. But I throw those parentheses in there, and I get 1, okay? Kind of like we expected. And then exponents, we can do the same thing here, equals this, and then we use a little caret, which I think that's what it's called, is the shift 6, and it gives us a result. So we did 5 raised to the 5th, so a lot bigger number. Anyway, that's kind of the basics of formulas. It gives you a little bit of a sense of how to use them. Remember, you always start with an equal sign, and then you can plug in whatever you want to plug in. And then to get a reference, I can hit equals and then just click on whatever cell I want to click on, and it will give me that as a reference. Okay. So that, oh, one more really, I forgot to totally include it. So one more symbol that I want to show you is this ampersand, okay? So, or the and sign. So the and sign will just combine values in a string of text. In other words, this you can use to combine text. Like let's say I have a column that has John and a column that has Smith in here. If I want a single cell that has John Smith's name, I can go equals John ampersand Smith. Okay. Now you notice John Smith, I probably want a space in between. So what you can actually do is right in here, and it's kind of hard to see. We'll get a little bit of focus on here. Maybe that'll help, but probably not. Anyway, E15, which is John, and I'm going to put a quote, space quote. Now what the quote does is it's telling Google Sheets, put in whatever's inside the quote. So I put quote, space, quote. It's going to throw a space in there because there's a quote, a space in between. And I do another ampersand there, and John Smith appears with a space. Okay. Now, the nice thing about that is, let's say you have a big long list of names and you want to combine them, you can use that ampersand. So pretty cool formula. We'll go more into functions and formulas in a later video.